good evening. This is culled.You wishing you a very pleasant evening, and welcome back to my channel. It's great to see you. And here we are, the ongoing saga of the Wuhan coronavirus, which is spreading like wildfire. Basically, the whole of China now is in lockdown. So now, as you can see, that every part of China is infected to some extent by the coronavirus. But if you look at the dark red, that is 100 to 1,000 confirmed cases, and you'll see that it covers the entire coastline of China. And you can imagine that these ports are going to start shutting down. That means that all transport and travel will be shutting down in and out of the country. This is going to have a huge human impact and economic impact. We have so much goods that are coming out of China now to the rest of the world that, even if it were a month-long shutdown, this could send a shockwave across the world and the world's economic markets. But to add to the woes that are taking place here, I just come across this article that talks about a avian flu, H5N1, which has broken out in Shaoyang, and there's been some 20,000 birds culled already. Now, the avian flu can jump from birds to humans. And this from RT. Clucking hell. New outbreak of bird flu sees thousands of chickens culled in coronavirus-stricken China. Yep. Staple food. Chickens. As China grapples with the rampant Wuhan coronavirus, another sickness has broken out in the country, the deadly H5N1 bird flu. The outbreak took place at a farm near Shaoyang City in China's central Hunan province. The country's Ministry of Agriculture announced on Saturday 4,500 of the farm's 7,850 chickens have died from the illness, and local authorities have culled nearly 20,000 birds to contain its spread. H5N1 is an avian flu virus that causes severe respiratory disease in birds and is contagious to humans. No human victims have yet been reported, but the World Health Organization, WHO, states that more than 350 people have died from the virus since it first spread to humans in Hong Kong in the late 1990s. H5N1 is a far deadlier virus to those who contract it. Nearly 60% of H5N1 patients die after contracting the sickness, compared with the 2% of WuhanCoronaFlu 2019 nCoV patients thus far. There's been no reported deaths yet, and there's only been 350 deaths been reported since the 1990s, and so that's not really a huge amount. However, when you tie this in with the coronavirus, where people are seriously weakened from either just recovering from or in the throes of that pneumonia, flu, cold, disease, respiratory infection, what have you, to have avian flu on top of that is surely going to increase the count. Now, I don't think that these two viruses can cross-communicate with each other, so I don't think there's any chance of them combining, but still, the impact, it may prolong this another 2 or 3 months. It's going to be amazing, and of course we're seeing an increasing number of outbreaks in North America, in Europe, in Britain, Australia, Japan, Taiwan. So I think you could quite easily see how all of a sudden food could get very scarce. The shipping stops. I have already started. I already am pretty well stocked, but I have been grabbing a few extra cans and some extra dry goods that are easy to prepare just in case I happen to get sick, because I will have to isolate myself in the house here and may not be able to leave for approximately 2 weeks. So I've been getting some extra water laid in and just preparing so that I can just busy myself around the house here just in case the worst case scenario happens. And if there is a big panic, I think you can be pretty certain that all of the world will get people just to lock down and stay as close to home, work from home if possible, and avoid contact with all other people until further notice. And so I would seriously consider preparing even minimal stuff, because once a panic sets in, once it actually gets out that this is going to be a pandemic, and it could be quite a serious pandemic? Well, as you will see in the article from RT, there is a 60% mortality rate from the avian flu. So as I say, when you already have a weakened immune system, you're already fighting off one particular virus and another one comes along, this could be a 1-2 punch going on here that could really have a serious impact on the entire world. And because it's brand new, none of us have any immunity to this whatsoever. So I would recommend, without panicking, not trying to create a panic here, but you have to be aware that this is possible. So, over the next week, 2 weeks, just make sure that you have a few extra supplies. Take a moment to get some extra water, some drinking water, this kind of stuff, some dry goods, some canned goods, some bread, maybe to stick it in the freezer. I'm assuming the power is going to stay on, the lights are going to stay on. But yeah, just stock up on a few things so that should the worst come to the worst, you are at least prepared for a couple of weeks stay at home. And as I've always said, when you're stocking up on stuff, buy things that you already like to eat, because if you don't, firstly, you'll hate it when you start trying to eat it, and secondly, if it isn't turns out to be not the crisis that it might be, well, then you'll just have to throw it out. It's money wasted. So buy things that you enjoy eating, that you will eat, things that are simple. Like I say, just assume, especially if you're single as I am, that if you get sick, you'll still have to do for yourself, even though you may be feeling pretty poorly. So just think about a few of those things, and like I say, do not panic. I think we have to accept this with a degree of resignation. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it, and if you're not going to get it, you're not going to get it, and that is that, and all about it. So go about your life as you normally would, and stay aware, watch the newspaper, the newscasts, and try and be aware of what is going on around you. And again, take simple precautions, wash your hands, try and avoid hand to mouth or face, eye, nose contact. Remember, any mucous membrane, that means your nose, your eyes, your ears, or your mouth, can ingest this virus. And so if you're going to wear a mask, you might as well wear goggles, and you might as well wear earmuffs as well. So take sensible precautions. Hand wash as often as possible. That's probably one of the best things you can do. Maybe I was even considering buying some latex gloves for when I go shopping, so that I can touch things without fear of have anything being, touching my body, because, people do love to handle food. Okay, so there was a quick update, and please, if you've enjoyed this video, like, comment and subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Houndlord Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant evening, and we'll talk very, very shortly. See you now. Take care. Bye.